Hey, Rutgers Engineering, class of 2021. I'm Chao, class of 1992, streaming at you from my home office here in Dallas, Texas. I want to thank the folks over at Dean Ferris's office for giving me this opportunity to virtually get out of my daily routine and do something really fun, like give a pre-recorded commencement speech to a bunch of 20-somethings sitting at home in their sweats. But seriously, folks, I'm truly honored to have this opportunity to spend a few minutes with you during this special time in your lives. You did it. And I couldn't be any more impressed with you all because you just graduated after a really, really challenging year and roughed it out like true gritty Rutgers engineers. Take this time to look back at the fullness of your experience at Rutgers and appreciate what you've done. If you can get through tough times like these, you can get through anything. It's only going to get better from here. It's got to, right? In any case, this was supposed to be a commencement speech, and you're probably already wondering who the heck I am. Let me start with the picture of me nearly 30 years ago. Yes, before all of you were born, when I felt just as special as each of you do today. There I am, second from the right, with my cool shades, doing my best impression of Tom Cruise. We were stoked, and our futures were bright. But the fact of the matter was that I was just happy to have made it that far. And I think my parents were even a bit surprised. The guy on the right, Ram Rao, now he was a genius. I remember him getting a 90-something on the EMAG final with Professor McAfee. And I remember racking my brain for days, if not weeks, studying for that test and then getting back my grade, a 27. The good news, if there was one, was that the average is 25. So I guess you could say I was above average. But I guess my point is this. I probably started the next chapter of my life a lot like a lot of you. And I think that's perhaps why Annie and the people in Dean Ferris's office asked that I spend this time to share with you a little bit about my journey over the past 3 decades and maybe, just maybe, impart some nuggets of wisdom that might help you a bit as you step out into the world. And what a scary world it is, and it seems to be getting scarier. Social media didn't exist when I graduated, and I can't imagine the feelings of inadequacy I would have had if I had a constant feed of better-looking people having more fun and being more successful than me all the time. In a way, I was lucky that I didn't have what I didn't know, I didn't know what I didn't know as I jumped into things, not being able to search Google or LinkedIn before every interaction. Because if I did, I probably would have cowered in fear and stayed home at my parents' house for longer than just the summer after graduation. Which leads me to my first point. Embrace luck. You can't control every outcome in life. This is particularly important for all of you engineers. By definition, you majored in something that tells something to me about your nature. You chose a major that is grounded in science and rational thought. You can write code that compiles the first time. You can derive formulas that can forecast the rise of ocean temperatures for the next 2 millennia. But the real world isn't like that. Life throws you knuckleballs. That perfect code you wrote just got pushed into the next release. Maybe global warming is caused by aliens. Or you finally land that dream job and you find out that the people you end up working with are all a bunch of jerks. The best you can do is know that uncertainty is the only thing that is certain. When you swing and miss, know that there will always be another chance at it. And the more chances you take, the more that the odds will finally line up in your favor, and that you will eventually land that thing that lets you advance your career, make more money, meet your mate, or whatever it is that makes you happy. During my junior year at Rutgers, I had some time between classes and actually wandered around a little bit of the campus. I happened to come up on a temporary trailer office outside the computer science building that looked a little like something like this picture. There was a small sign out front with the words Wireless Network Information Lab, WinLab, and I had no idea what that was. But they were inviting students to participate in a summer internship program. We didn't have the internet like we have today back then, so their idea of advertising the program was just a printed flyer on the front door. So my wandering legs and I walked in, and I was greeted by Dr. Goodman, the founder of the lab, who graciously gave me a tour and invited me to apply to the program. And as it turns out, I ended up getting the internship as well as a job at the lab to help the graduate students with some of their work. 30 years later, I'm still in the wireless industry where I feel like I'm making a positive difference in the world every day and feel like I'm the luckiest person on earth doing it. This brings me to my second point. Embrace new beginnings. For a lot of you, that's exactly what you're facing right now as you graduate. But know that new beginnings, small and large, will happen for the rest of your life. Embrace them. Each chapter in your life will build on the other, and before long, you'll have your own story to tell. But how do you know when to make a change? Talk to friends, family, mentors, and a little bit more on that later. But more importantly, trust your gut. Don't overthink it. Another way to think about it is not to get complacent. In fact, there are times when I truly believe that anytime I feel comfortable, I start getting this feeling of unrest, almost a panic in my gut. Perhaps it's growing up with Asian immigrant parents in New Jersey. Talk about two cultures that don't tolerate mediocrity. Take in signals all around you and trust your instincts and know when it's time to make a change. Before the pandemic hit, my current tech startup was on a roll. Here we are at TechCrunch Disrupt, pitching at the famous Moscone Center in San Francisco. And as a side note, that's Rob Wondolowski in the back, also a Rutgers University EE alum. It was an awesome experience. And following that, we raised fresh capital, got ourselves into a really cool office, added some great engineers, even hired a product manager. We were just about to launch our product and be on our way to scale. And then the lockdown came. We couldn't travel to meet partners and customers. Electronics supply chains were seizing up everywhere. Everyone stopped traveling to shows and to meetings. It was hard to see really the signs then just because we were on such a roll. But we ended up having to take the tough decision to pivot. We ended up narrowing the scope of our product, slow down our growth plans, and reduce our cash burn. Looking back at this past year, I guess you could say that COVID actually helped us refocus and pivot back to what we probably should have been doing in the first place. In a way, it was back to a new beginning. Finally, don't go at it alone. Again, you're engineers, and as a group, by and large, you over-index on being introverts. It's likely that you kind of get stuck in your own head a lot and are more comfortable sitting at home on your laptop. It's also likely that you'll be the one that answers the back to office survey question of how many days a week do you want to work remotely with the answer, all of them. Resist the urge. Go into the office, collaborate with your coworkers IRL, find a mentor, and know that your boss wants you to succeed, or else she wouldn't have hired you in the first place. Embrace the people around you and follow your mentors that believe in you and the ones that you believe in as well. When I finally landed my dream job at Lucent Technologies Bell Labs in Murray Hill, New Jersey in 1997, I was lucky to have a great manager, Maria Palomera. I had dreams of being a Bell Labs fellow, a prestigious distinction for only the most accomplished engineers and scientists in the world. I thought I had made it. I was doing research on next generation digital wireless communications with the best minds in the world, even some people that wrote the books while I was at school. This is until I realized I wasn't anything like the people around me. I liked talking to people and on the business side and around the entire company and learning everything I could about bringing technologies to market. My manager recognized this, but she also recognized I had a good instinct for the business side. Maria pushed me to get into something called product management and even convinced the company to sponsor me to get my MBA. I like to say that I was demoted to executive leadership after failing as an engineer. I learned from there that having a great mentor and listening to the advice of others was the best thing I could have done and likely would not have done had it been solely on my own. Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you for letting me stream into your homes and share in this special moment with you. After the pomp and circumstance of graduation is over, and you see that Instagram post of a fellow student land their dream job and you still haven't even gotten your first job interview, know that you're not alone. There have been thousands of Rutgers engineering grads before you that have gone through exactly what you're about to go through. Wear that Rutgers Scarlet Red with pride. And don't forget, embrace luck, take a chance at change, and instead of binge watching another show on Netflix, call your mom. Once again, congratulations, Rutgers Engineering Class of 2021. I truly wish you all the best.